So Juan, the Champions League has concluded. The group stage has concluded. Let's talk disappointments first off.
Juventus comes to mind. Atletico.
We'll do a separate Barcelona video so for me to sulk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, who's your biggest disappointment? Would you say for you, who didn't make it through to the round of 16?
Based on the group that they had, although
besides Barca, obviously.
Yeah. Besides Barca, based on the group that they were in, although a competitive group, they should still have had the advantage over the other three. Atletico Madrid.
Easily. I agree.
Juventus.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Juve is, I think, equally disappointing because they only won one game. I mean, Atletico only won one game too, right? But to come away with 3 points only from this group, that's insane.
I would say that I'm less surprised with Juventus though.
Ooh, okay.
Because Juventus, I see them in in Serie A. In Serie A, son un desastre. Well, they've slowly turned it around, but they're still not at the level, and I'm not surprised based on how they don't have any strengths. I think we've discussed this off air, or outside of the recordings, but I mean, to me, it doesn't surprise me that where Juve is at. They just seem to not actually want to get younger. You can't really, when you're watching them, you can't really see their strengths. Sure, some might say the injuries haven't helped. Sure, yeah, maybe in Serie A they haven't helped. But even with those injuries, if those players were healthy, can I sit here and say, oh, they're a Champions League contender? The answer would be no. Whereas Atletico, I think they still have Simeone. Their style is still the same. They still have great quality players. And as I mentioned, in the group that they're in, it's very...
Yeah, to be left without any European competition, right?
Right. Only 5 points as well. So only 5 points against Leverkusen, Club Brugge, which we had discussed. They hadn't allowed a goal in the entire tournament up until this last match, right?
The last two matches.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say Atletico is definitely the biggest disappointment, being left out of Europe in fourth place of this group. Juve at least will make it to the Europa League along with your Barcelona and Ajax. But Atletico, definitely for me.
Yeah. Now, they're the bigger disappointment, no doubt. But who's in the hotter manager seat, do you think? Is Allegri more likely to get fired than Simeone or vice versa?
Juventus is tricky, or Allegri, because of the amount. I mean, I'm not sure what Simeone's contract is, but Allegri is getting paid like 8 mil or 9 mil a season, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And he has like 2 more years left on his contract. So I find it difficult that Juve is going to pull the trigger right away because they're going to have to pay him out. I'm not too certain on Simeone's contract.
Simeone is the best paid manager, I think, in the world. I think he makes around, I'm looking it up right here. I'm trying to find a source. The Sun here has him at about 36 million annually.
Wow. I did not know La Liga was dishing out that much for managers. Now,
well, him in particular, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets paid a very, very nice lump sum. And he, I think justifiably, right? Justifiably. We were talking about this in a group chat that we have going on where he made this club what they are when they were less than 20 years removed. I think when he took over, about less than 15 years removed from relegation, from playing in the second division in Spain, and took them to 2 Champions League finals, made them relevant, made players want to come over to play with him.
Made them relevant again, right? Because they have had some form of history.
Some success in the past. And they attracted players like a Griezmann, like a Falcao, like a Forlan,
right?
Godin, Joao Felix,
and great young players, right? That he's brought up.
Thomas Lemar, there have been some great players in them. So, yeah, I don't know with you.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
because right off the bat, right off the top of my head, you would think Juve will let go of Allegri first. But maybe it's time for Simeone and Atletico to move on. We were discussing this, and I think, I think I mentioned in the group chat. I mean, I think Serie A seems like the next stop for Simeone. I mean,
could be.
He played there, right? He played.
Yeah, I believe he played for Inter, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. But not sure. I mean, it's. Even in La Liga, right? Where's Atletico at right now? Are they in?
They're in third place.
Third place. Okay, yeah. So where they've been the last every season.
Yeah, top three since he took over with 2 league wins and in between. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I would say Atletico's up there with one of the most disappointing, the most disappointing.
Group stage.
Surprising in a good way. Definitely Club Brugge.
Yeah.
Same group, and Porto being number 1 in that group.
Mm-hmm.
And
what other surprises?
Benfica, top of the group that included PSG in that same Juve group.
Yep.
So Portuguese teams we could see at least I think one of them in the quarterfinals easily.
Right.
And I mean, no other than that, no real big surprises.
Yeah.
Besides
Napoli, maybe.
Napoli, top of the group. Yeah. I would say that's a huge surprise. Big surprise for that. They were top of the group. They lost their first game of the entire season against Liverpool. Yesterday, which is crazy. We're in November and they just lost their first game of the season. Mm-hmm. Right? They're still undefeated in Serie A, right? Keep me honest with that one.
Yes, they are still undefeated.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's early, right? It's early, but I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No one saw that coming. What I briefly mentioned in our group chat that you mentioned earlier is I've watched a couple of their games, and to me they play with a 4-3-3, and it reminds me a lot of how Ancelotti plays.
Okay.
Very patient, focus on defending and then countering with, and obviously they have that Georgian player. They have Chucky, who's been consistent.
Yeah.
Osimhen, who's coming off an injury, but even without him, they were playing great.
Like they lost key players, like
Koulibaly,
historic players for the club, like Insigne, and like you mentioned Koulibaly, and it just hasn't phased them this season. They're unstoppable.
Yeah. Credit to them and the manager Spalletti.